Welcome to part 4 in the tutorial series on building an AR app. In this tutorial, we'll look at installing Unity, we'll take a look at the asset store and how to download assets from the asset store, in this case Vuforia, to introduce as an AR camera. Then we're going to generate an image on which we are going to project a model on top of it. And this is the basics of augmented reality. So that's enough said, let's start. Download Unity, head over to the Unity website at unity.com. The download button is right in the middle of the screen. Clicking on it takes us directly to the download page. We can download for Windows right here in the middle of the screen. The other OS are down here, so Mac and Linux. We will be downloading the Unity Hub. And this allows us to install different versions of Unity. It is recommended to use a single version of Unity once you start the development. If you change during the process and the development, you may run into problems as Unity tends to change over time. And some of the code that you write or some of the features you install end up being broken. So stick to the version, and also I would suggest to use an LTS, so long-term support version. Those are the better ones to choose. Those are more stable and receive regular updates over a long period of time. So we can do that, but let us first head over to the Compare Plans section. And clicking on Compare Plans shows us the different plans that are available. We can go with the personal version right here, clicking on Get Started, and it says that we cannot make a revenue more than 100k in the last 12 months. So this is something you need to comply with if you want to proceed. So assuming we meet these requirements, we can get started with the Unity personal version. We can click on the accept terms, and again it says the statement that you have to comply with. Everything is fine. And we can download the Unity Hub. Click on download, you'll see the executable file and start the installation. Once you've installed the Unity Hub, you'll see a screen similar to the one I'm projecting on the screen right now, obviously without the modules here. You can then select the version that you want to install. So I'm just going to installs, and you can see I have installed the 21.39F1, so the long-term support version, which is here. I suggest you install the same one. You can follow along with the next tutorials. What is important is, and I'm just going to show add modules. This is going to be a question which is going to be asked when you install this version. Do install the Visual Studio Community 2019, as we will need this for scripting. We will write little scripts to execute some of the actions. And we also need the Android build support, as we're going to export this out to an Android device. There is a couple of different modules available, and it just says the Android software development kit, and this is the native development kit from Android. We have the native development kit, which we also need, as this converts the C# code that we are writing back into Android. So this is the communication between the C# code and Android. And we need to open GDK, which is the Java development kit. As Android is written in Java, we need this as well, so we can export this out to the Android devices based on Java. So that's all that we need. The rest you can click on it and install it if you like, but we don't need it. I did install the documentation, but that's not needed. So it says how much space there is available and you need, then click on install, and that should install your Unity version. Before you can start with Unity, you'll need to register. Just fill in the details and a password. An email will be sent to you. Click on the activation link and you're ready to go with Unity. Once we got Unity installed, we can click on New Project. Then we are giving a bunch of options. We will go with 3D Core. We can name the project. In this case, let's call is robot tutorial. And we can select a location where the project is going to be stored. Then click on create project. It's going to take about a minute to open up and compile all the files, and then we should be ready to start the project. We are welcomed with a fresh project in Unity. What we want to do now is download the Vuforia AR camera, and this is done through the asset store. The asset store is integrated with Unity, where you can buy, as the name implies, obviously a lot of assets. Especially when you're building something from scratch, you can buy assets to speed up the development process. A lot of models and so on have been developed already. You can purchase those and include in your project. But we want to include the Vuforia camera, so we want to head over to Windows on top. Let me zoom in. And then we can select the asset store. I can zoom out, you can see it is moved, but if I click on search online, a browser is opened and it takes us to the asset store. You can also reach it by going to assetstore.unity.com. And we want to find the Vuforia. As you can see, I typed it in already, but let's just type it in, Vuforia. And the one we want to use is the Vuforia Engine SDK. Clicking on it takes us to the page of this asset, and just simply click on add to my assets. Then the screen is opened because I'm not logged in, but you can log into Unity, the same account that you created when you installed the Unity version. And once you've done that, you can download the package to include in your project. To include a package in your project, like the one we've just downloaded, go to Windows again and go to Package Manager. And on the left hand side, there's the option Package Manager. There's the unit registry, the ones in the project and my assets. And in this case, you can see I have more than a few which I downloaded for testing. But the Vuforia one that we just downloaded should be here as well. We can click on the icon to import this in the current project. And this is exactly what we're going to do. Then we can head over to the right hand side all the way on the bottom. And we can click on import. And that will import the asset into the project. So clicking on import, it will give us a warning. And we have to be careful if we have developed a full project and we're gonna import a new asset, we may overwrite some of the assets. In this case, we have not developed anything yet, so we can easily click on import just for testing to see if everything works. But you may want to be careful if you have developed a large project already. So we're gonna click on import. Is gonna show us everything which is going to be imported, and we are going to click on import again. This may take a second, but once it's finished, we can take a look what we've imported. Clicked on import, but it remains on this screen. We can just simply close this window as we have imported everything correctly. We're back at the scene, and if we head over to game object, the option Vuforia Engine is available, and this can be included. We can simply select AR camera and immediately it's added on the left hand side in the sample scene, and we have added the Vuforia camera. Now that we installed the AR camera, let's give it a test drive. So we are gonna press on play. That should activate the webcam. So I switched off the little video on the bottom, and as you can see, my webcam now becomes my AR camera. You see me sitting right in front, but you see that there's a watermark all over this image, and this has to do with the fact that we do not have a license key. To add a license key, we can head over to the right hand side. We can open the Vuforia engine configuration. So pressing on that shows us that the app license key is missing, and this is the one that we want to get. So we can go to the Vuforia website, or we can simply click on add license. That will open up a browser where we can log in, register and get a license key. The website takes us to developer.vuforia.com, and I'll just zoom in so you can reach it at the URL right here. Then you need to register if you're a new user or log in if you have an account. So I will log in and we can create the license. That takes us directly to the license manager. So I do have a couple of them. If you're a new user, this obviously will be empty. There is also a limitation on the use of Vuforia. So this is learn more about licensing. We'll just take a quick look. So we can use the free version or the basic plan for all these different targets, but it does not allow us to publish on the App Store. In this case, we have no intention, so we can go ahead. The watermark, what we're going to do, is going to be removed, but it will still be present when you do the model targets or the area targets. But we're going to focus on the image target later. But let's first get the watermark out of the image. So what we can do is we can create a license. So we're going to click on Get Basic. And that's going to generate a new page for us. So this is going to be robots tutorial. And then you see, this is the license we can use. We get 1,000 views per month. That's fine. So we click this and we confirm it. Then we have the robot license. If we click on it, it takes us to the license manager. And it's going to give us a huge code, which we can copy, as you can see here. And again, you can click on usage and you can see how much you have used already and how much you have left. But clicking on it, let's just copy it. Then we're going to head back to Unity. And this is right here. Then we're going to the AR camera. So that one is selected, heading all the way over to the right hand side. Open the Vuforia engine configuration and paste your license key right in here. So don't click on add license, as that will take you back to the website. But once we've done this, we can see how that works. When we start the app right now, then you see me sitting in front of the green screen. So I'm here, everything seems to work. The watermark is gone, so we can take the next step. We want to check to see if it works. We can create an image. In this case, it can be any image that you like. It can be your business card, or it can be an image that you draw in Photoshop or GIMP. I drew this one and I would like to present this to the camera and then show a model which we're going to import. So the first thing we need to do is head back to the Vuforia website. Back at Vuforia, we're at the license manager again where we left off. Now we want to head over to Target Manager, and here we can create a database containing our image, which we can later import in Unity. So we are just going to add database and we're going to give it a name. Let's call this a robot tutorial. And we want to set it to device, so we're going to upload it to the device that we have. We can also create this in the cloud. And we can create view marks, but that's something else. So we're going to start with device. Then we're going to click on create. And you see that the robot tutorial has been created. Let's open this up. Now we're going to add the target. And this is going to be an image in our case. And I'm just going to search for the image. Upload it right here. And then we need to specify the width. And it says here that the size of the width should be the same scale as your augmented virtual content. We have a robot and the robot is, let's work this at 1 meter. So I'm going to type in 1. If your model is smaller or larger, you should change the value here. But I'm going for 1 at this point. We are going to click on add. Then the image is going to be added. It says type image. It has a 5-star rating, so this has a very good contrast, very easily to recognize. And we're all set. The thing we want to do now is download the database. So we're clicking on the button and we want this for Unity. So because we want to import this into Unity, not in Android Studio. So selecting Unity, clicking on download, and then we can head back to Unity to import this database. To import the package we just created in Vuforia, just head over all the way to Assets and go down, select Import Package and select Custom Package. In my case, I have it at a different location. So this is the file that we downloaded, robot tutorial. I'm just gonna click on Open. Then it shows me all the files it's gonna import. I simply click on Import. And that should set everything correctly. Now let's add an image. So we're simply gonna select Game Object, Vuforia Engine again, and then select Image Target. And that adds it to the scene. And if you can't find it, select this first, press on F, and there's the image. Well, we need to set the database first. So we have the image target selected, heading over to the right-hand side, image target behavior. We are going to select from database because that's what we imported. Then the database is obviously the robot tutorial, and then it brings in the image as well. Everything is set, so the image is visible, the AR camera is set. But before we start the AR camera, we want to add in a model first that we can use to project on top of this image. Grab the model. So just to show you, I can grab it and drop it inside of Unity. And I don't need this anymore. So the model has been dropped in. If I just place it anywhere in the scene, you see it's already projected on top of the image, so I can see what it looks like. But I want it to be on top of the image once the image is recognized. So I'm going to make this a child of the image target. And now we're all set. So we got the model in and we got the image recognition in the database. Now when we press on the play button, the AR camera is started, and when we present the image and I send it to my phone, the model is projected on top of it, and this is the basic model that we created earlier in the tutorial. This is without textures and without the animation being activated. In the next tutorials, we want to justify this and make the software interface, change the materials and add some technical documentations. So that's the next step, but we got Unity working, we got Vuforia working, the model is projected, so we're ready for the next step.